Hello, how's it going? So in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be going through the new beginner powerlifting program that I've just released. And if you're looking to get this program, either click the link in my YouTube bio or DM me at Squat Merchant on Instagram, and I'll put the profile up on the screen now. So getting straight into it with the first part of this program, we have the welcome page where you can input all of your information here under bio if you want to, and then you have your personal best. So I do understand most of you may not have done a competition before, so you can ignore this part, but if you have done 1 rep maxes before in the gym, you can input your best squat, bench, and deadlift and total. And then whenever you hit new PRs in the gym, you could just delete the weight you inputted before and put a new one in there. Now, onto the main part of this, which is going to be the program. So I'm going to go over the main parts of this program first, and then I'll go into the specifics with each session. So getting straight into it, this is a 4-week program with 4 days a week. And as you can see here, there is recommended days inputted here. So the day 1's recommended on Monday, day 2 on Tuesday, day 3 on Thursday, and day 4 on Saturday. You can change these around if you want to, but it would be in the best interest for you to be able to train on these days. But obviously, if you work on certain days or for some reason you can't train on those days, you can move those around and that's absolutely fine. But it would be recommended to stick to this as much as possible. So moving on to the next part of this program will be the warm-up drill. So you can see here you have the target S, B, and D. These just stand for squat, bench, and then deadlift. And then you also see here they are highlighted in blue. This just means that there is a YouTube video that you can click on to show you a demonstration of how to perform this warm-up. So if I click onto this one here, you can see here is a demonstration of how to perform a heel elevated goblet squat. And then you can also see on the side here the number of reps you should do for the specific warm-up. So moving on to all of the numbers now in the program, you have sets, reps, and RPE. Starting with RPE, RPE is basically rate of perceived exertion, which means how hard a set was out of 10. I'm going to be going into more detail about this towards the end of this video, but for now, if something was RPE 3, that means you have around 7 reps left in the tank. So you can think of it as how hard a set was out of 10. Getting into sets and reps now, 1 set of 6 basically just means you do a certain weight for 6 repetitions. You do it 6 times, and that will be the 1 set of 6. Now, moving on to how you actually input the weight and RPE of what you've done into the program. So as you can see under load, this would be where you would input the weight that you've done. So for example, if you have done 120 kilos and you felt like it was around RP4, you would input it into there. And then as you can see on the note side here, you do have guidelines on what weights you should do for your week 1, because there aren't going to be given weights for you. So you're going to have to kind of work that out for yourself. So you can see here, the first one should be very light. Then for the second set, it should be light, add around 2.5 to 5 kilos that you did here. So then you would go to 125. And then let's say that was RP5. Then you look on the next one here, it says somewhat light, around 2.5 to 5 kilos. And then you would input 130 kilos here if that's the weight that you did. And then that would be inputted there. And now, since you've inputted this, the next 3 weeks of training will be automatically put in for you. So you can see here you have 125, 130, 135. The next week's 130, 135, 140, and so on. So you basically just need to choose the weights that you're doing for your week 1, and then it's automatically inputted for you for the next 3 weeks, which is going to make it a lot easier for you. And then same with the accessory movements here. You would input whatever weight you did and whatever RPE. The last couple of brief things to go over before I go into the specifics will be the S, A, B, and D on this side. These basically just stands for the same as the warm-ups, squat, bench, and deadlift, but the A stands for accessories. And with the accessories, you can see here you have a drop-down arrow. So if you click on this exercise, you will have between 2 to 3 exercises that you can choose from for that specific muscle group. So for example, you have leg extensions and leg press here. If for some reason you can't do leg extensions because you either don't have one at the gym or it causes you discomfort or pain, then you can choose leg press and do that instead. Now, going into the specifics of every single day, I have the day 1 here, which is going to be a competition squat day, and then also a leg day. So you would look onto the notes for the week 1, see it's very light. You would choose a weight that you think would be RPE3, input it there, and then use these notes to help you for the rest of that session. Going on to day 2 now, you have tempo bench press, and you also have the notes here. So 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, and then fast on the way up. And then same again, you have the notes here to guide you for the weights to choose for the first week here. And then you have upper body. Going on to day 3, you have either pack squat or pendulum squat. So choose these depending on which machines you have at the gym and which one you prefer the most. Same again, you have the notes on the side here to try and help you choose the weight. And then we have a leg day here with some abs at the end. And then going on to the final day, you have a bench and a deadlift session with upper body there, with notes on the side to try and help guide you to choose the weight there. And then same as I explained before, once you've completed that week 1, all of the weights will be inputted here automatically for you for the squat, bench, and deadlift. For the accessories, they won't be, but I would recommend to progress them either in the rep range. So say you did leg extensions with 100 kilos for 8 reps on this session here. Next one, I would look to aim for 9. But if you're at the top of the rep range, the next session, look to add some weight. So 2.5 to 5 kilos, depending on what the machine is. Or just go up 1 pin if you have a pin loaded machine. Now going on to the next part, which is going to be the accessory exercise library. So this links in with the program. So as you can see here, accessories are anything that has an A next to them. And just like the competition squat here, as you can see, it's highlighted in blue, so you can see an example of this. It will also be on the exercise library here. So we're able to see all of the videos demonstrations for every single exercise. So you have lower body here and then upper body here. So for example, if I wanted to know how to do a leg press, I would click on the link there and then it will come up showing you a demonstration of how to perform this exercise. So now moving on to the RPE chart part of this spreadsheet. So I did explain earlier, going over the 4-week program, roughly on what RPE means. But there's a scale here just to get your understanding a little bit better if you would like to visualize it and see what I mean by RPE. So as you can see here, rate of perceived exertion, RPE. If it's RPE 10, you could not do any more repetitions of that weight. RPE 9, you could do 1 more, RPE 8, you could do 2 more, and so on and so forth. But as you can see here, there is also a percentage to RPE chart. So this would be helpful for starting that week 1 if you do have a 1 rep max that you've inputted in here. So let's say, for example, you do have a 1 rep max and it's 100 kilos on squats. You would go onto the program here, you would see that you want to do a set of 6 at around RP3 to RP4. So you would go onto here, you would go across the rep ranges, you would find 6 reps, and then you go down to RP4, and it would be around 67%. So for that first set there, you'd be looking at something around 62.5 or 67.5 for that first set. But make sure to take this with a pinch of salt, as this may not be the same for everyone. It's just a rough guide to try and help you understand that week 1 weight. So going on to the final part of this video, which is going to be the frequently asked questions part of this program. So I may have answered a lot of questions you have about this program already on this video, but there may be some that you're thinking of that I haven't answered and that may be on here. So for example, if you were thinking this program is repeatable, you'd be able to see here that yes, this program is repeatable. Just make sure to start the week 1 2.5 to 5 kilos heavier than you did on the final week, which would be week 4. So you can carry on to get stronger. And once you feel like this program is no longer working for you and you aren't progressing, you can sign up to my online coaching found on my Instagram profile at Power Peak Coaching. So you can see a bunch of questions here, but this still may not be enough and you still may have some questions or queries that you do want to ask. So if you do, feel free to drop a comment down below on this YouTube video or DM me at Power Peak Coaching or Squat Merchant and I'll get back to you as fast as I possibly can. So if you guys are going to hop onto this program, and if you did find this video helpful, if you would leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to this channel, it would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next video.